What now?
Podcast.
Welcome back to the What Now podcast. I'm your host Nathan. This here is my friend Ty.
Yoo-hoo, bist I'm a blowout.
And yes, I did point when I said that, even though this is
We
an
called
audio
it.
podcast. Yep, that's
We called it.
what we said was going to happen. So this is episode 2, I guess. We figured for these next couple we do a bit of a get to know you thing with your hosts.
Yeah.
So we're going through my personal top 10 favourite films of all time.
Before we do that, what makes a bad movie in your life?
I think the thing that angers me the most in a film, like while watching it, is like incompetence. You know,
Okay.
so like just genuinely, if the script doesn't make sense or it's directed by the whatever. But that being said, I'd much rather watch like a terrible film that's like they've tried to make something than like a nothing film.
Killed on the script.
Because like Solo is a better film than Attack of the Clones. Like in terms of it's directed better and written better and performed better. But I'd rather watch Attack of the Clones because Solo's boring as crap.
And also, Attack of the Clones pick 8. Sweet.
Yeah, you know, so.
So what it is for me? It's a rewatch.
Okay.
So like a movie can be bad. Like the two is in go. Like, a movie can be bad when you first watch it, but then you rewatch it. It can either be good or be bad, or it can be good when you first watch it. Then you rewatch it, and you're like, oh, this is a bad movie, or it can stay good. Like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That was a bad movie when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it, and I'm like, it's actually okay. I'm not saying it's a good movie.
No.
It's watchable.
Just to clarify, we are not saying League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
is a good movie. We are not saying this.
We're not ending our careers this early.
That's a career killer.
Just admitting to like.
The good bit about that was Sean Connery, and it's Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Okay, yeah.
So, your top 10.
Okay, we're doing mine.
We're not talking about bad movies, we're talking about good movies, at least in Outrise.
Yes, these are my favourite films, which means they're the best of all time, objectively. No one can have a differing opinion.
I will argue about at least 40% of them.
One of these in particular.
Definitely.
I'm anticipating a fight.
If you know me and Nathan, you know there's going to be a fight coming, but...
Yes.
But... We'll just go.
If you've seen the prep for this. But that being said, let me salt the ground, as it were. You know, let me prep everything by sharing a movie that I know Ty loves. Butter him up a bit, because I'm going to talk about Pulp Fiction.
I do love that movie. It's a great movie.
In case you somehow don't know, Pulp Fiction was released in 1984, directed by the brilliant Quentin Tarantino.
Do you remember that?
Ty's amazed because I have it open and didn't check.
Exactly. I'm going to have to check everything. And these are meant to be mad.
And yes, I am correct. I have now checked. It was just in 1994.
Oh, God.
But yeah, for me, Pulp Fiction's one of those films that just... Like, I wasn't going to put it on this list. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out. And I figured...
Yeah, I'm going to put that on the list.
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction in a while. Gonna give them a rewatch, and I forgot just how good this movie
It's a great movie.
genuinely is.
Quentin Tarantino's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I figured I should put something of his on here. I think.
know. I feel like I've insulted him.
Sorry, I've got one. But I feel like Pulp Fiction's the ultimate like example. Like everything I like about Tarantino is in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's told out of sequence, but it makes sense.
Yeah, like comedy, brutality, all that.
It's somehow really funny and really disturbing on a dime. Like it switches between sentences, let alone between scenes.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've got good performances from both John Travolta and Bruce Willis in the same movie. That's a minor miracle.
That is a minor miracle. And Uma Thurman being Uma Thurman.
I was gonna say maybe her best role, but her best role might be the next Quentin Tarantino film she did.
Straight up, Kill Bill. What else did I like? God, I keep remembering Uma Thurman was Poison Ivy.
Yeah, she was also
in that Batman movie.
I think that does prove. Yeah, the amount of like shockingly.
That's what I remember that movie.
The amount of like shockingly bad films a lot of the cast of Pulp Fiction are in proves just how well cast this movie is. Where Tarantino's like, well, here's these characters written for these people, and they're gonna nail it. Well,
you're talking about everyone that's not Samuel L. Jackson.
even at that,
But
he's
before
been used
1994.
before 1994. No, but he has been used wrong because of Pulp Fiction.
Oh god,
You know,
oh, God,
people are like, oh yeah, he swears a lot and shouts at people and wears suits. We'll put him in every movie that requires someone to do that.
And do you know the theory about Ving Rhames?
Oh, but
What's the character? Marcellus Wallace.
the plaster on the back of
plaster on the
Marcellus'
back of the
head.
neck. They're like, yeah, it's his soul in the briefcase. It's not.
No, Big Rhames had a cut.
Ving Rhames cut himself shaving. That was it. Do you know what's in the box?
A light bulb.
Light bulbs, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Quentin Tarantino said. It was in the, what's in the suitcase? What's in the briefcase? Not a suitcase. What's in the briefcase? Lights.
Yeah.
To make it look like gold.
I was gonna say, in case you haven't seen it, we should do the plot for Pulp Fiction, but then I realised that's not the point. There's not really.
No, it's Pulp Fiction.
There's not a lot of a plot.
Okay, so Pulp Fiction, if you haven't seen it, you're really missing out. If you're offended easily, don't watch it.
Yeah, if you're a child,
Yeah, if you're a child,
give it.
if you're under the rating that it shows, I believe it is
18.
18. If you're under 18, we are responsible.
Don't worry, I have a kids movie on here at some point.
I have a few.
This next one is also not a kids movie.
Yeah,
We're talking Donnie Darko.
I have seen half an hour of Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko, released in 2001, directed by Richard Kelly. Once again, didn't check, and it turns out I'm correct. 2001, directed by Richard Kelly, and is one of the strangest films of all time.
Yeah.
In Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal wakes up in a golf course, and he sees a rabbit, and the rabbit tells him the world's gonna end.
And the rabbit's like 6 foot tall.
And the rabbit's huge. And then he just kind of goes to school, and people think he's crazy, and then he is, or is he maybe not? I don't know. Time travel.
Oh, is this like a Inception kind of deal? Is he dreaming or is he not?
He could be crazy, or it's time travel, or it's both.
Let's go both. It's Looper.
This one, I guess, yeah.
Looper before Looper.
Was the crazy people in Looper Rian Johnson, the writer and director of Looper?
Yes. And also the makeup artist who thought that Bruce Willis with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's hair looked okay.
Or Joseph Gordon-Levitt with Bruce Willis's nose.
Yeah. Who thought that looked okay? That did not.
It still looks better than Will Smith and Gemini Man.
It looks better than Will Smith and Aladdin.
Everything looks better. Anything's better than anything Will Smith's done all year.
Oh god.
With this one, this was an odd pick for me because I almost don't want to recommend it to most people I know, because I know most people in the world hate Donnie Darko, because this is a confusing film with no plot.
Yeah.
That you have to read a book to make the time travel stuff make sense. But Jake Gyllenhaal wears a skeleton suit and calls the guy the Antichrist.
So 1 out of 10 would not recommend, but 10 out of 10 would
10 out of 10 is one of my favourite films.
Sorry, 9 out of 10, one of your favourite films.
Yes.
9 out of 10. Alright, so if you like psychological thrillers, and if you like a film that's a rewatcher,
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'd also recommend.
So it lives up to my. It doesn't live up to my what makes a bad movie.
I would also recommend checking out the director's cut if you can find it, because it explains things a little better. It's quite a bit longer, but it does give you passages from the Philosophy of Time Travel, the fictional book that is available in the old bookstores.
Wait, what time travel are we talking about? Are we talking Back to the Future time travel or Endgame time travel? Because one works, one doesn't.
Well,
you don't have to be smart to guess which one works.
In Donnie Darko, it's more about you've got. I can't really explain the plot. Don't worry. That's a bad plan. This early to explain.
Have I messed up?
Well, they create a tangent universe, and the idea is he has to go back to make that tangent universe not exist.
Endgame.
It's similar. Yeah, if you've seen the bit where Tilda Swinton is like messing with rocks in Endgame.
Yes,
it's
so
kind of like that, but with more airplane jets and death. Let's talk about a more fun film. Not really. It's Empire Strikes Back.
I like it.
It starts fun when they wrap up the 80, but then everyone all the bad guys win.
Yeah, sure. Very depressing movie.
So this film was
Why did you pick this?
I have a depressing take. All these are depressing. I'm just maybe
one of them for the wrong reason.
This is 1980, I believe. Am I correct? I am, and was directed by Irvin Kershner.
I know that name.
He directed Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, but he directed something else.
Probably. I don't know.
You know, being a director.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's what he does. If you don't know, somehow Empire Strikes Back is the second released Star Wars film, fifth chronologically.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Han Solo gets frozen?
This is the one, spoiler alert, for this movie that came out 40 years ago. This is the one that made children cry, yeah.
1980, so is that actually legit 40 years old?
40 years old this year.
We should talk about
It's
this
the 40th anniversary. I shouldn't have talked about most of these yet, because these could all be their own episodes.
They're shining.
The next one is also, also 40 years old. But yeah, this film, I don't think I need to explain why Empire Strikes Back is perfect.
No. Is this the one where Han Solo gets frozen?
Yeah.
I love that.
I
love that bit because that's completely handled. That's what I love about it. It's like Harrison Ford got told he was meant to say "I love you" back to Princess Leia, but then he was like, Han Solo would say that. Yeah. Boom. I know. That's amazing.
Incredible. Yeah. But this whole, I don't know, just the idea of having a film like I love A New Hope as well. It's another of my favorites. Having a film like that that's kind of bright and colorful and this like space western Flash Gordon thing, and then go, what do we do next? How about all the bad guys win, everyone's sad?
You know if Stephen was here, I'm calling you out, Stephen Gaynor, if he was here, he'd say that the prequels were the best.
Yeah, but so would like a few of our close friends.
No, I mean like the Jar Jar Binks prequel. He'd say Phantom Menace was the best movie. Guarantee it. I literally want to bet him.
Okay, Stephen, you are in charge of our social media, so please prove us wrong. I'm not cutting that.
That's the thing, like,
that's my
people would cut that. That's us. That's just us. We're not. If you know us in real life, you know we're not great with stuff.
Also, I'm too lazy to do that.
This is just going to be the cut.
Number 7's The Shining.
The Shining.
Also released in 1980, directed by maybe the greatest filmmaker of all time, Stanley Kubrick. He's one of them.
Second.
After
Tarantino.
No,
sorry, wrong. Kubrick's fourth.
Who we put on there? Spielberg?
Tarantino, Spielberg, and Scorsese.
Scorsese. I was thinking Hitchcock.
Oh man, I forgot about Hitchcock. Oh god.
Apparently, there's a lot of good filmmakers out there. Maybe that's why we're doing this. But yeah, The Shining. We should do some Hitchcock. I'll note that down. Walt Disney is a great actor. Jack Nicholson, and he's in The Shining.
He is in The Shining.
And I think he's a big part of what makes this movie work. Is Nicholson just losing it on set and just fully embodying the role of crazy axe murderer dad. Shelley Duvall also brilliant.
She suffered a crap ton in that movie.
Yeah, this isn't. As a film student, I almost feel like I shouldn't be praising The Shining because it was a very unethical shoot because Shelley Duvall was famously bullied on set by Kubrick and Nicholson
to be. If you've seen The Shining, spoilers, when it comes to the door, that is Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, it's that and where she's climbing the stairs backwards with the knife. Those are the two parts where I'm like, oh, I feel for this actress right now because she is suffering. But I think with The Shining, there's a real sense of claustrophobia in it through the whole film, which is incredible given the size of the Overlook Hotel set.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of just shooting it. Even he'll show an expansive ballroom and you still somehow feel claustrophobic is just remarkable filmmaking. Anyway, I'm a big fan of The Shining. It's also very. I always forget how scary The Shining is. And then I'll be like, he'll walk into the bathroom, and I will be curled up in my couch, not wanting anything to happen.
I was going to say, like, you always forget how scary The Shining is, then you forget you're not a 5-year-old boy anymore. Because it's scary, but not now.
It's that kind of. It's just it's almost scary knowing what's going to happen because then you're like, you forget how long each build-up is, and you're like, nothing's happening, and I know it's going to scare me, and then
the original, that scared the crap out of me for weeks. I was scared to take a shower because of that one scene. Now I'm just like, I would punt you right in the teeth. Like nowadays, Although I'm lying, I'm trying to act hard. I'm not. Like, can you imagine if like Tim Curry just as a clown came at you, just running? Like,
I mean, I would love to meet Tim Curry.
I'd love to meet him. I don't know. He looks like a.
He was in Home Alone 2 and better movies like Muppet Treasure Island.
Like,
why can't I name a better Tim Curry movie?
No, because there's not good Tim Curry movies.
Rocky Horror, obviously.
Oh, the Rocky
Horror Picture Show.
There
There you go. The one that everyone thinks of with Tim Curry, but I said Home Alone 2.
He was also in Charlie's Angels.
Clue? He's in Clue. Clue's pretty good.
He's also in Scary Movie 2.
Yes, and Scary Movie 2. We only know bad movies, guys, apparently. But do you know what's not a bad movie? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That is yeah. I've not seen that in years.
That was released in 2004 and directed by Michel Gondry, the music video director behind all the Good White Stripes videos, if you've seen those.
You mean the one Good White Stripes?
You think I fell in love with a girl?
I'm thinking 7 Asian Army.
Oh, he didn't do that one.
Yeah,
but he did Fell in Love with a Girl, he did Hardest Button to Button,
this is
and
my music taste.
the one with Conan O'Brien, whatever that song was, I forgot.
Late Show? The Late Show?
Well, the one where they're on the Late Show, yeah. Anyway, he also directed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which, okay, the one thing everyone talks about, and I'm going to brush over it because you have to talk about it. Jim Carrey's incredible in this movie, he just is. But that's not the reason this is a great movie.
Because he cares about the movie.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful performance, him and Kate Winslet both nail it, but this is an incredible movie because Charlie Kaufman wrote the most insane screenplay since the last one he wrote, which was Being John Malkovich. Which is even crazier than this film. And then Michel Gondry went, screw it, I'm going to put a car in a bedroom and just, I'm gonna throw a bed on a beach and make Jim Carrey sleep in it.
I really need to rewatch Eternal Sunshine.
Yes, it's also a film I'd highly recommend if you can pick up the Blu-ray or the DVD, checking out some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and watching just how insane some of the shots are. Because there's almost no visual effects in this. There's no CGI.
Oh really?
It's all done in camera. So like.
Which a car in a bedroom.
They drove a car into a bedroom and they put a bed in the middle of the beach and just made the actors sleep.
That's pretty easy.
I think the most incredible part though, if you remember this film, is Jim Carrey is walking through his own memories at one point. So there's one part where you see a recreation of a previous scene in the film where Jim Carrey's having a conversation with the doctor, and then you get Jim Carrey watching them. So Jim Carrey has to stand in one costume, run behind the camera, switch costumes, and sit in the chair to be doing the recreation of the other scene, and then back again, multiple times. It is. It's got similarities. I think Jim Carrey is only in this film because of the Truman Show, and I would recommend watching Truman Show first to get used to Jim Carrey. To get used to Jim Carrey being this reserved.
Get used to Jim Carrey caring about movies.
Yeah, because if you're used to Jim Carrey being the rubber band man, he is an incredible performer. He is the only reason to watch films like Ace Ventura or The Mask, because they do not work otherwise.
Okay, right. Mask I agree with because they made the Son of the Mask and it was
don't watch.
Trash.
Don't watch any sequel to a Jim Carrey movie that Jim Carrey wasn't in.
Watch The Mask because it's actually Cameron Diaz's first movie.
It is indeed, yes.
She literally set herself up for a fall there. By that, literally the first scene she's in.
Yeah, that caused a trend for her, unfortunately. Yeah. She also voiced Fiona.
Then she's like, I don't like this anymore. Well,
but yeah,
what we're looking for is
anyway. But yeah, if you're still not sold, I think Jim Carrey's one of my favorite performers of all time. And if you're not sold on him through him talking through his butt, watch Truman Show and definitely watch Eternal Sunshine because it's my 6th favorite film.
I think to put a lot of people's minds at ease, right?
He doesn't talk through his butt.
Whole movie. The people say like, why should we just listen to these guys? Right, let's move on. Nathan is a film student, wants to be a director and make his own movies. Me, I'm old. I'm older, so like I've been through the ringer. Like I didn't go to the cinema when I was younger. I got DVDs for Christmas, birthdays, even when I lost a tooth. I got DVDs. It was sick. I lost 7 teeth one time. I was like, sweet, I'll get 7 DVDs. No, I got dinner and 3 DVDs. I'm like, yay, dinner when I've just lost 7 teeth. Great. But yeah, and probably combined, me and Nathan have seen about 2,500 to 3,000 movies.
Yeah, it'll
There's
be a
no way
lot.
you can say that without sounding really sad.
No.
No.
Let's talk about a kids film now.
Let's talk about kids' film now.
Although I'm gonna be really nerdy because my favorite kids film is Spirited Away.
Oh,
Released in 2001,
Nerd.
directed by the incredible Hayao Miyazaki, and I do hope I'm saying that correctly.
If not, who's gonna know?
Who's gonna know? I've only ever seen it written down. I'm just realizing now. And Spirited Away kind of fits with most of the films on this list. I'm like, I'd explain the plot, but I'm confused. You got the little girl, and her parents are pigs now, and then she forgets her name, and she works in a bathhouse. And there's monsters and stuff. And it's... I'm really selling Spirited Away.
But that's literally the plot.
That is the plot. Spirited Away, right? I've nailed it. This, I think, is my favorite animated film in terms of just animation. In terms of how it looks. Miyazaki has this concept called Ma, which is basically the idea of pausing and letting just animation run for a few seconds. Which no Western animation has, and that's why they all feel so annoying and hard to watch all the time. Well, the Spirited Away has that great moment. They're sitting on a train, and you get a good solid 5 seconds of just water, and you get to process all the dragons and monsters and running around, and you go, that's nice. And then it goes back to dragons and running around and monsters.
That's what movies of the day lack. It's all about, we need to keep these audiences gripped.
I feel like even classic Disney animation doesn't do that. You know, like I always think of the fact that like I love the song Bob O'Reilly by The Who, but The Lion King does not need a scene where Simba's running, and then we just randomly play Bob O'Reilly by The Who to keep people engaged.
Do you know what I think that's missing? Like the new Lion King.
The new Lion King, yeah. Facial expressions.
The original.
Facial expressions.
Yeah. The old Lion King, like when during Hakuna Matata, love that song. I really love that song. During that, when Timon pulls back the leaves and you see the home, I love that bit. That looks so sick. And the movie, we don't have it. They just go straight into it, and they wreck that song. They really do wreck that song.
I didn't like the film as a whole.
The best choice they made was Seth Rogen as Timon.
Great casting choice.
Timon
Pumbaa cast well, I think, for the whole thing. Just a misguided idea.
You just need that little piece of beauty.
I think, and that's really the reason. And the reason to watch any of Miyazaki's movies, I could have thrown a dart at just all of them and put one on this list because they all look incredible.
You should do that with it. That's a video like.
Throw darts and watch movies.
Yeah.
That's very Red Letter Media. I love it. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Spirit. Well, apparently I do. Apparently I did because we've done for a while. But yeah, Spirited Away is just a beautiful looking film. A film. If you've got kids, which you do, Ty.
I do have kids.
Then you're fed up of watching like whatever Illumination and Blue Sky are doing right now. I don't know, Ice Age 27 and the Emoji Movie.
I'm watching SpongeBob.
Okay, I'll give you that.
TV series.
I mean, it depends what season.
All of it.
Oh, okay. Because it starts great, and it's great now, but there is that dip in the middle with a splinter and whatever. But yeah, if you want to sneak in just some great entertainment, throw some Miyazaki in there, I think. I'm saying that as an 18-year-old who hates kids, so what do I know?
Kids.
I don't hate kids.
You don't understand them.
I'm bad at kids. Let's move on from that.
So, Nathan's future wife, if you're listening to this, you got yourself a real winner. Okay. So what you were saying, if you've got kids.
Yeah. If you've got kids and you're looking for something like, because I remember watching this as a child and being just obsessed. This and Ponyo.
I just watched myself.
Do you ever see Ponyo?
No.
Real quick, in Ponyo, another Miyazaki film, there's a fish, and she turns into a girl.
So it's Princess in the Frog.
But she's a little girl, and she wants to be a person because she makes friends with a little boy, and then she just becomes a girl, and it's the funniest film of all time.
I don't think I've ever seen any Miyazaki's movies.
We should do a Miyazaki episode.
We should do it.
That'd be great.
I'll have to really watch then.
Another director that I don't think you've ever seen anything by, but I think we should do an episode on, is Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson directed The Royal Tenenbaums, my fourth favourite film. And you thought Miyazaki was hard to say.
What, The Royal Tenenbaums?
Royal Tenenbaums.
I'm going to say right now, don't watch this movie.
Do watch this movie.
Don't watch this movie.
If you've forgotten this one, it was released in 2001.
I don't blame you.
As I said, directed by Wes Anderson. And if you're not into indie film, you probably know this as that other film from 2001 that has Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller in it. It's not Zoolander. It's not a... It is a comedy, but it's also really sad.
It's Meet the Parents.
It's not Meet the Parents. It's nowhere near Meet the Parents. It's Meet the Parents if everyone was wearing tweed.
Exactly.
And there was 18 character studies going on.
It's
and Luke Wilson has a hawk and plays tennis.
It's Meet the Parents without Robert De Niro.
This film taught me a lot, actually, when I first watched it, in terms of filmmaking, because Wes Anderson, if you know his style, he does a lot of... he'll use certain colours for each film. He'll measure everything, so every shot is symmetrical. He'll have similar actors and everything, so he knows what roles they'll be good at playing and everything. And a lot of his films have that kind of whimsical fantasy feel to them, despite being grounded in reality in a way.
Yeah.
So he writes his own rules. And in this film, he managed to make me cry, despite everything feeling fanciful, because he pays attention to his own rules and then shows mental illness through the lens of a character that lives in a Wes Anderson world, which is truly remarkable.
So, like Welcome to Tomorrow.
But better.
But
a good film. Great visual effects. But Zemeckis, I think, has been good at that as well. It amazed me the idea of showing something. Yeah, because the shot that makes it great. It's done. It's symmetrical. We got Wilson framed perfectly. There's a Elliott Smith song playing in the background. It feels like a Wes Anderson moment, but because you know the world and everything, it works. And no one.
Jesse's song playing in the background.
Don't make me think of Toy Story 2 right now.
Oh man, that's when I found that out.
Yeah, if you don't know, I have like a breakdown in a Pizza Hut over the Jesse's song scene from Toy Story 2.
Yeah, so like I've known Nathan for a while.
Yeah, but no
interest. I've never seen him cry, and then I find out he is really. I mean, I've cried in films. I've cried at Inside Out Dancing. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was an amazing film, and I cried at the end of Billy Elliot because, damn, that's beautiful.
It's just up there.
Eh?
So I'm thinking of the bit where he's on the bus and he's broken the leg
off. When he's dancing on the table in front of his dad, I'm like, bro. Or at the end of Return of the King, when Aragorn goes, my friends, you better know one. I'm like, bro.
This is our subtle way of getting honourable mentions.
Joel, you're listening. You feel it too. You know it.
He went like this. He hit his chest like this. Like,
right there. I feel the cut. Okay, so before we start crying, and what's next?
This one's not emotional at all. It's Blade Runner.
No, it's not.
We're gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about the bit where. Again, this movie. When did this movie come out? 1984. 82.
So it's not Blade Runner 2049.
No.
Is that how I say it?
Blade Runner 2049, yeah. It's the sequel, which is also an incredible film. But Blade Runner came out in 1982, directed by Ridley Scott, of course.
Ridley Scott, sick at it.
I say 1982. Watch the 2007 cut, known as the final cut, because it's so much better in every single way.
Did June not have a final cut?
Yes, that's another one you need to watch the final cut for. And the director that did Blade Runner 2049 is doing the Dune remake. So, I guess his thing is helping to fix broken 80s franchises. But yeah, Blade Runner, this is a film, it's one of those, it looks beautiful all the way through. It's a film. The miniatures are all remarkable. Harrison Ford, one of the 3 great Harrison Ford performances. But obviously, what's the Rutger Hauer?
Who we lost
sadly last year. And one of the saddest moments of all time is watching the In Memoriam Emmy Award show where they decide to play the entirety of his monologue from Blade Runner, which is a big part of why I love this movie. Is the look up on YouTube if you haven't seen it before, or watch this film and you'll see it. The iconic Tears in Rain.
Oh yeah, he's got blood coming down his back. I've seen that.
It is
emotional.
one of the greatest monologues of all time in terms of how it's written and in terms of the performance. And that's really this movie. It's just a bunch of good things pieced together.
Yeah.
It's another one. It's up there with Donnie Darko and Eternal Sunshine and Royal Tenenbaums. If you're not a person that wants to sit and like feel when watching a film, if you want to watch explosions and things, maybe don't check these out.
Go and watch a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, go watch Six Underground on Netflix.
No, go watch
I'll watch The Irishman instead.
Still not seen that.
Right, let's have a fight.
Yes.
We're at my number 2.
Let's have a fight.
Because my second favourite film, and the film that made me want to make stuff, it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World from 2010, directed by my personal favourite filmmaker. Not the greatest ever, but my personal favourite, Edgar Wright.
Really not the greatest ever?
Not the greatest ever at all, but
really
the one I get most excited about.
Okay.
And Ty.
Okay, right. If you know me and Nathan, you know we argue a lot about this movie. Now, if you know me, the first time I ever watched Scott Pilgrim, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say I didn't, but panning back to my theory at the start, what makes a movie bad, boom, the rewatch. I rewatched it. I'm like, this is not a good movie. And do you know what I hate? I'll tell you, right? I've teased this.
I've been looking forward to this.
This could either go really good or really bad. I don't have anything to do with it.
Flip the table.
Don't flip the table, my phone's on it, that's not it.
This is all my stuff.
So, I don't like a movie that forces you to like the good guy. Now, let's be honest. If we take Scott Pilgrim at a base instinct, he's a douche.
He is, yeah. He's the worst.
Right, so why should I like him? Because his name's in the title? No.
With Scott, and I don't know if it's just because most of the mistakes Scott Pilgrim makes in this film, I make on a daily basis because we're the same person.
You are, except Michael Cera.
Yeah.
And who's your Ramona? I don't like movies that force me to like the good guy.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, what's Michael Cera done before? Before Scott Pilgrim, what was Michael Cera in?
Arrested Development.
Right. Movies.
Superbad.
Right, Superbad, where he's carried by Jonah Hill.
Which makes sense because he's playing Evan, who is supposed to be Evan Goldberg, who's and Evan Goldberg is iconically Seth Rogen's friend.
Yeah, let's be honest. I just don't like it. Rewatching it, I understand the geek factor.
I think Scott Pilgrim really does come down to our varying viewpoints on film in general, and I think it is an interesting one to bring up right now, because I know you're definitely a person that's like popcorny, if you know what I mean. Like, you want to watch a film to be like, I'm having fun, and I'm watching a film, whereas I'm like, I want to see how they did that. And but with Scott Pilgrim, it is like, it amazes me that they made a dumb comedy based on a really dumb set of genuinely really funny graphic novels, and they went, and we're gonna just throw everything at it. You know, we're gonna have the greatest stunt team in the world. You know, we're gonna cast it as perfectly as we can. We're gonna get Beck involved for the soundtrack. We're gonna train Michael Cera and Brie Larson to do backflips. We're gonna teach Alison Pill to play the drums because it'll look cooler on set. You know, like.
And also, they took Superman and ruined his career.
He's so funny. Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh.
I don't think it's Brandon Rogers.
You think of Steve Rogers, Captain America?
No, because Captain America's in it, and he's one of the best.
Also in it, yeah.
That is literally one of the best lines in the movie. And he comes out with his trailer and goes, "It's actually hilarious."
I always talk about this film in terms of it being the film that made me want to study film. A lot has to do with I was 9 when it came out. I think I was 11 when I saw it. I bought the DVD. And there's one shot in it that still amazes me to this day because it's all in service of one of the dumbest jokes in history. It's not the bar fight. It's one of the dumbest jokes in history, and it's so subtle. Because what happens is Scott goes to the toilet, and then there's a video game style meter that comes up, the P bar. But then he leaves the room to a different location, and it's not green screened. So for one of the dumbest jokes in the film, they've built this impossible set
Oh, I forgot
to make
that.
it. Yeah, like, and the film's full of like, you didn't need to go that far to make that look as great as it does. But Edgar Wright's like, no, I do, because I'm Edgar Wright and I made Shaun of the Dead,
I want to.
and everything I do has to be one up on the next thing. And his career is, I'm not the biggest fan of The World's End. I love Baby Driver. But again, it's just that it is. Yeah, we can talk about it another time. But is that like he is my favorite filmmaker in terms of like why I keep going to see his films, because every time he's like, I'm gonna one up what I did last time, and every time I'm like, how? Because last time you like last time you did this.
You blew up New York last time. How are you gonna beat that?
So I'm very excited to see, like, if I can say the name of the film right, Last Night in Soho with Anya
There
Taylor.
you go. That's the reason I don't like it. I
I do think that does just sum up the varying ways we look at.
Because you shouldn't have to force it.
No, but I also.
Granted, your good guy can be a douche sometimes, but he's very rarely a good guy.
I do like how the characters in Scott Pilgrim point out that Scott's a douche.
Yes.
That I've always appreciated, especially.
The drummer.
Yeah, and his roommate as well.
Really does. Ah, yeah.
They're cute. Yes, very underrated actor. Brilliant in Succession, the TV show, if you've seen that, with Brian Cox. So I've got one more film.
Yep.
And I don't.
Your number one.
My number one. I don't, which is ironic. 'Cause I don't have a lot to say about it because I saw this film once and went, yep, that's probably the best film I've ever seen. And then I was like, that's my favorite. I've rewatched it since, but like that's like my favorite.
Yeah.
I sat down and went, the credits rolled and I went, that is the best thing I've ever watched. There's no emotional connection or anything. I just went, yep, that's it's Rebel Without a Cause. I'm gonna be very film nerd. Rebel Without a Cause from 1955.
Old.
Directed by Nicholas Ray, starring the late great James Dean. Don't bring him back for that war movie. He wasn't alive when that war happened. Please don't do that. We'll talk about that another time probably, because I'll get mad about it. But yeah, Rebel is just a great film because it's directed perfectly, it's written perfectly. It's this great piece of 50s teen drama, melodramatic, whiny kids, except for everything they're talking about
You mean
does go wrong.
nowadays?
Except for this one, there's like guns. And a guy drives off a cliff. It's like Rebel, yeah. But Rebel Without a Cause it's every teen sort of stereotype.
Okay.
But they're teen stereotypes because this movie's so good. You know? Like, it's the way people talk about, like, people mention it with Citizen Kane. They're like, oh, every film starts with narration and every film has montage and every film is like, yeah, but it's because Citizen Kane did it.
Yeah.
Like, no one had done it yet. Rebel Without a Cause is like, yeah, every teen protagonist, right up to the ones Noah Centineo or whatever his name is playing now, are James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause. No, it's Noah Centineo from All the Boys I've Loved Before and Perfect Date and that trash Swiped.
Swiped.
I think he's in Charlie's Angels now as well. I didn't see that.
I get which one it is.
But yeah, Rebel is a great film. I don't know what to say about it compared to the other 9. It's just really good.
So if you can fit a VCR player and a video, you can watch
Oh, if you know me, just borrow my DVD. I've got the color version. You get to see the red.
Sweet.
You've got the red leather jacket, which I want to get so badly. There's two jackets in film I need in my life. James Dean's Rebel Without a Cause and Ryan Gosling's in Blade Runner 2049.
Do you know whose jacket I need? Neo's in Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, the really long one.
Yeah, the long fabricated
Yeah.
one, not the leather, the fabric. And also, I want Morpheus's glasses.
Yes, I would love some Morpheus glasses.
Although I'd probably look like a dork because I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
So, so when you said that, I just think of, that clip of Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm Lawrence Fishburne!
Anyway, to recap, Pulp Fiction, Donnie Darko, Empire Strikes Back, The Shining, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Spirited Away, The Royal Tenenbaums, Blade Runner, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Rebel Without a Cause. I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think that's top 10.
That was my top 10 films.
Solid.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. Be sure you follow us on Instagram at WhatNowPod.
Yep.
That's run by Stephen, who we followed earlier. You can find him at Stephen Gaynor. Follow me at Nathan's username and Ty at Ty Hennessy 94.
And tune in next week to hear my top 10s, which are actually good.
Mean. Yeah, so if you're listening on Spotify, feel free to check out the Nathan Needs a Username channel. All podcast episodes will be up there, along with Nathan Likes Movies, Nathan Likes Music, and whatever voice crack, and whatever weird little shorts and stuff I decide to do between forever. Between was the wrong word. And if you're on that channel, feel free to just look up What Now, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Should be up there. And see you around. Ta-ta. That was a strange way.
Do you want to help forward?
And now they should be able to hear me perfectly fine.
Well, they will be able to hear you perfectly fine because it's your show.
It's my
The
welcome
big show.
Welcome to the Nathan podcast.
Welcome to Nathan's podcast. No one else helps
No
me.
one. I'm the only one.
Alright.
Anyway, that's long enough.